Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Seriously Butthurt Sports. I'm back with Zach Morgan. Yes, that is Zach Morgan. The beard is gone. And we're here to talk about semifinals of the NHL playoffs.
I've never been here before in my life. I have no idea what you're talking about. They dragged me off the streets because I supposedly look like this guy they haven't been able to get a hold of in, I don't know. They didn't tell me how long. They just threw me behind here, and here I am.
Yeah, 2-3 weeks. It's about how long it took the quarterfinals to go.
More or less, it's kind of what should have been expected. I mean, yeah.
Well, we're down to the semis.
Yes, we are.
New York Islanders versus Tampa Bay Lightning. Vegas Golden Knights versus the Dallas Stars. We'll start again over here on the East. Islanders, Tampa Bay. They did play a game last night, and it was heavily one-sided, to say the least. 8-2 victory for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Braden Point is just shining. Is there any other way to put it?
I mean, the Braden Point, Nikita Kucherov also had 5 points in that game, I'm pretty sure.
I bring up Braden Point because he's on like a 7-game point streak.
Braden Point is absolutely the hot hand on the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Not to mention the first goal he scored in that game was a thing of beauty.
That it was. Braden Point's been really something else. We've been seeing it shine. He was a big catalyst for them in the Bruins series that they ended up winning. And quite frankly, we can talk as much as we want about how good the Tampa Bay Lightning are, but it really seems like, wow, the Islanders need to step up because they let their goalie who got a shutout in Game 7, Thomas Greiss, he got chased, I think, what was it, 10, 13 minutes into the first period?
Very, very quickly.
That can't happen.
Say the least. And then Varlamov didn't do much after that either.
Well, I mean, what was there to do? Tampa was just firing on all cylinders.
That is true, but I mean, you could have put up a little bit of a fight to keep them in it. I mean,
apparently they can't. This is going to be the Islanders' next step, I guess, in getting their lumps and getting that valuable playoff experience, or looking like they're going to get their everything handed to them on a silver platter.
Well, or so they might have thought. So it will be interesting to see how Barry Trotz rallies them back after that, because that's
if he can.
That is true, because that's a demoralizing Game 1 loss, 8-2. 3 goals coming in the first.
I don't know if you saw how Nikolai reacted to scoring his goal at the end of the game, but it was about. I think they all just kind of skated close together and then just kind of skated away.
Well, when you're losing by that much, you can't really celebrate.
No, you can't. But you can at least acknowledge it with like a fist bump, which is what I usually see, even if it's very low. They literally just skated together and skated away.
That is true. That is very true. But yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what the Islanders do to bounce back for game number 2. For whatever reason, I'm gonna say Barry Trotz gets them back on pace. I think they play them tough, but Tampa Bay, I'd say, take this in 7. It's the Stanley Cup playoffs. It's the semifinals. To me, it's like it's got to go 7 games in my mind. So, but Tampa Bay is going to be too much, especially because they're playing with that chip on the shoulder from last year. Definitely, that's part of what's fueling them right now. So I think Tampa Bay takes it in 7.
Let me stop you right there. This because it's the playoffs does not mean this has to go 7 games. What happened in the last round, with notwithstanding, wherein 3 teams blew 3-1 leads almost, and then all of them coincidentally won Game 7. That I don't see that. I really don't. Maybe the Islanders can pick up a game here, but they just look overmatched, and on paper, when you look at the names side by side, the Islanders have a very good team, but they really don't match up to Tampa well. Tampa seems to be kind of exercising their demons, so we'll see what happens. I'm banking on Tampa keeping it up. I'm not going to give them the sweep, but I'm going to say Tampa in 5.
Okay.
I'll give the Islanders a game, maybe, but I wouldn't be surprised if Tampa swept this and had another week to wait for who they were going to play in the Stanley Cup final.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, then speaking of who they would possibly play, we're going over to the West. We have Dallas versus the Vegas Golden Knights. They also played a game Sunday night. 1-0 win for the Dallas Stars. Dallas Stars coming off a 7-game series versus the Colorado Avalanche. And Dallas's defense is holding up. Qdobin is just playing great as well.
Qdobin's playing great, and honestly, he is bailing out whoever decided to start Ben Bishop in Game 5, because that decision alone, it looked like, was going to really sink the Stars, because they had it there. Qdobin was a hot hand. All of a sudden, Ben Bishop was deemed what was it? Acceptable to play, or
fit to play.
Fit to play.
Whatever that means.
Yeah. And he gets the start, and it's another situation where a goalie gets chased within the first period.
Mm-hmm.
Fortunately, Qdobin was able to kind of piece it back together and regain that toughness that he had in win Game 7.
Yeah,
and he's carrying it into the series. It's hard for me to believe that I'm about to say this, but last night on the ice between the two, or 2 nights ago on the ice between the two goalies, and Qdobin looked better than Marc-Andre Fleury, who also played very well.
Oh, yeah.
Qdobin has just been incredible.
Yeah, no, Qdobin's playing on a hot streak. He's that goalie that's caught fire this playoffs, and he's riding it. And, I mean, look, Dallas has a good defense in front of him, but he is bailing his team out in very many. I mean, watching him play in the Avs in last series versus the Avalanche, the saves he made against them to keep them in that game, he's playing lights out. So, and I mean, this is going to be a hard fought series. This is going to be that one that's going to go back and forth. Again, I think this is going to go the full 7 again, because they're just going to go back and forth. I'm going to pick Dallas because when you have a hot goaltender, that gives you an edge. It gives the team confidence. It just keeps everything going. Plus, the Dallas Stars just find a way to grind out wins. And from watching them, they're playing a lot of neutral zone defense to then just push forward in the offensive zone. They're not trying to push. They're playing defense in the neutral zone, forcing the other team to make turnovers and then capitalizing on those turnovers.
To only describe the Dallas Stars defense as good has been a gross understatement. John Klingberg,
Agreed.
Miro Heiskanen have been absolutely fantastic. Esa Lindell has been chipping in. Andre Sekera has been making plays. The Dallas Stars have a very, very good defense. And you know what? There are pieces in the forward lineup, specifically Joe Pavelski, Corey Perry, who have been here before.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like what Dallas can do. This series is a bit much. I feel like this series is definitely a bit closer in the matchup between the Stars and the Knights as it is in the Eastern Conference.
Mm-hmm.
I do also like Dallas, but Vegas is a tough team with all these pieces. And a big thing that you have to remember, Ryan Reeves was out in Game 1 for Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something the return of Ryan Reeves is definitely going to give more insight as to how the series is really going to go.
Mm-hmm.
But if everything holds as Game 1 did, I do like what the Dallas Stars can do. It seems as though they are playing a very neutral zone trap-esque type game, which as a Devils fan, I respect it and I get behind it. Not fun to watch for those who aren't fans of hockey, but c'est la vie. It wins games, and
if it ain't broke, you don't fix it.
Exactly.
They're not gonna fix it anytime soon because it's definitely working for them.
Here's what I'm gonna say. If Dallas wins, it will be in 6 games. If Vegas wins, it will be in 7 games. I like Dallas right now, but Ryan Reeves coming in could absolutely change everything, and this could very well be Vegas' series. So This one's a really tough call, but I am going to fully lean into my belief that Dallas is just, since getting out last year in double overtime in Game 7 against the St. Louis Blues, they have been hell-bent, and they have been looking they've shown up. And you know what? To come back after blowing a 3-1 lead, which both of these teams did,
yes,
that's impressive in itself. So
yes.
And it's hard to believe that I'm saying it's impressive that you managed to avoid, losing 3 games in a row after going up 3-1. But that just seems to be how it works lately, where the momentum is carrying in and the guys who were down, they just seem to be prevailing.
Well,
But not the case this year.
I mean, you also have the Golden Knights who were knocked out of last year's playoffs with that little chip on their shoulder as well. So they're looking to get to where they believe they should have been last year.
That was Joe Pavelski was on that team.
Yes.
Yeah.
So now Pavelski's on the Stars, and so
I don't like the Golden Knights matching up against Joe Pavelski. He seems to be the night killer.
Well,
or the night. He was
Slayer. What?
No, he was no. He was
with?
the one who got. He was the one who got hit. He was the one that they committed the penalty on. I'm trying to think of that, but
gotcha.
The great draw. I don't know.
We'll think of something else.
Don't look to me.
but yeah, so I mean, playoffs are going to be fun here on out. The West more likely going to be a lot more fun to watch than the East, especially if Tampa Bay does what they did to New York last night. So it'll be fun to watch. I mean, it looks like, well, to you, it depended on the games. I mean, you did say you like Dallas, so it looks like we're both going Dallas, Tampa Bay in that Stanley Cup final after my Avalanche were knocked out and the Philadelphia Flyers decided to be the Philadelphia Flyers and not show up. But
yeah, the Philadelphia Flyers Twitter and New York Islanders Twitter are both really sad places when the team loses. Like, I'm sure that, but it's just depressingly sad. And I'm saying that as a Devils fan. I know what my hockey Twitter is. It is garbage. It is hot garbage. Pavel Zacha elite. Anyway, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I have nothing to say.
Nothing else.
Well, quick hats off. We're gonna just to take it off of playoffs for a little bit. A big shout out to Bobby Ryan for winning the Masterton Trophy. As you know, he is a player who took an extended leave of absence because he wanted to tackle his issues with alcohol abuse. It was unknown if he was even going to be able to return just because of everything. Well, not when I say everything like that, usually I mean pandemic, but no, just all the things that he was going to have to work on. It did not seem likely that he was going to return, let alone play for the Senators. And sure enough, he managed to play the last 8 games, scoring 4 goals right before, league paused. And quite frankly, it's really one of those things. Yes, he beat out Oscar Lindblom, who would have been in another great story to win that trophy. Especially since he even took the ice in that series, which no one expected him to do after getting, I believe it was Hodgkin's lymphoma. So hats off to both those guys. Hats off to Bobby Ryan. The Masterton Trophy is always one of those. It's one of my favorite awards to see get given out year after year because it really goes over, and sure, it only highlights a few of the stories of what players are dealing with off the ice. It only highlights a few of those stories, but it's definitely, these are human beings.
Yeah, it's that trophy that just brings that to light. Like, look, these are not just hockey players. These are actually human beings who have lives and do struggle with things off the ice.
Yep, so. And it's just like the, Tyler Mott came out with it about his struggle with depression. Of course, Robin Lehner has been the poster child of dealing with mental illness while you're being a professional athlete, with his recent coming out, I think last year, about his struggles with bipolar disorder. So it makes me happy to see. The Masterton Trophy is one of the good things about the sport, and I like seeing the human side of players.
Oh, and I think a lot of people like it when they can see a more human side to athletes, because I think we put them on pedestals from time to time. So sort of showing that they're humans and not just players making quite a big paycheck compared to most is always, of course, nice to see. Well, NHL playoffs are going to be very exciting. Can't wait to see how these 2 series turns out. Whew. Zach, thank you for joining me once again, and hopefully see you back in, what is it going to be, about 2 more weeks, I guess it takes, depending on how many games each of these teams decide to play.
Yeah, 2 weeks seems
About 2 weeks.
about 2 weeks seems like a very safe bet. I would say a week and a half, 2 weeks, we'll see the start of the Stanley Cup final. So
Sweet. Well, it's always a fun time.
that it is.
Once again, thank you. Thanks for joining me on Seriously Butthurt Sports. Look out for our baseball episodes. Football season's right around the corner as well. Kind of snuck up on us with no preseason. So keep an ear out for any football episodes we might have coming out.
Of course.
Have
And
a
and of course, got to give me a follow on Twitter at Captain_Z Morgan and on Instagram at Zicarius, ZAICHARIUS. Give it a follow. There's some good content coming their way.
sweet. Have a good day, everybody.
Take it easy.